Could the test that's supposed to save your life actually risk it after 70? Every year, millions of seniors go through routine health screenings, believing it's the safe and responsible thing to do. But what if some of those tests are outdated, unnecessary, or even dangerous at your age? Today we'll explore 5 checkups most doctors won't warn you about, but you must know. Because after 70, your body needs wisdom, not worry. And number 3? It's one that sounds high-tech, but may quietly lead to more harm than help. We're taught to believe that more checkups mean better health. But after 70, the truth is more complex. Some tests can lead to stress, false alarms, even unnecessary procedures that do more harm than good, especially for aging bodies. This video isn't about skipping care. It's about choosing the right care. We'll walk through 5 common tests that seniors often don't need, and what to do instead. You'll hear real examples, practical tips, and the questions you should be asking your doctor. Because staying healthy after 70 isn't just about doing more, it's about doing smarter. Checkup 1. PSA test for prostate cancer, men. For many older men, getting a PSA, prostate-specific antigen, test during an annual physical feels routine. A small blood sample, just to be safe. But after the age of 70, what seems like a responsible decision can quietly turn into a medical journey filled with fear, confusion, and even harm. Take Gerald, 74. He had no symptoms, no difficulty urinating, no pain, no signs of illness. But his doctor offered a PSA test during a regular visit, just to make sure everything looks good. Gerald agreed. A few days later, his results came back elevated. Suddenly, Gerald found himself in a whirlwind of follow-ups. Second tests, ultrasounds, and eventually a biopsy. That biopsy left him with complications, bleeding, infection, and weeks of anxiety while waiting for results. The final diagnosis? A slow-growing form of prostate cancer that doctors said didn't require immediate treatment. But the damage was already done. He began to live in fear. He worried every time he urinated. He started searching online late at night. His peace of mind was gone. Why this test can be dangerous after 70? PSA levels naturally rise as men age. That doesn't automatically mean cancer. And even if it is, many prostate cancers found in older men grow so slowly that they will never cause symptoms or threaten life. But here's the trap. Once an abnormal result appears, the medical system reacts. Biopsies are recommended. Surgeries or radiation may follow. And these treatments often come with heavy cost. Urinary incontinence, difficulty controlling your bladder, impotence, loss of sexual function. Emotional toll of a cancer label that may never have mattered. This is called overdiagnosis, finding a problem that would never cause harm, and overtreatment when fixing that problem creates new ones. What the experts say. The U.S. Preventive Services Task Force and several urology associations advise against routine PSA testing in men over 70 unless they are at high risk or have noticeable symptoms. They stress that PSA testing should never be automatic. It should be a shared decision based on your personal values, life expectancy, and overall health. When it might make sense. If you're experiencing the following, testing may still be helpful. Trouble starting or stopping urination. Blood in your urine. Frequent nighttime bathroom trips. Pain in the pelvic area. In these cases, PSA testing could lead to valuable early detection. But without symptoms, especially after 70, the risks often outweigh the benefits. What you should do instead. Talk to your doctor. Ask, if this test comes back high, what happens next? Weigh the impact of treatment side effects on your lifestyle. Don't be afraid to say, no thank you, to a test that's offered just out of habit. Health after 70 isn't just about catching every possible illness. It's about protecting your quality of life. So before you agree to that PSA test just to be safe, ask yourself, safe from what, and at what cost? Checkup 2, routine colonoscopy. For decades, colonoscopies have been hailed as one of the most effective tools in preventing colon cancer. And they are, up to a point. But after age 75, this once standard test may quietly shift from helpful to harmful. Take Margaret, 78. She'd had a colonoscopy 10 years ago with clear results. But at her recent checkup, her doctor recommended another, just to be thorough. Margaret trusted the process. She fasted, prepped with laxatives, and arrived for the procedure. Hours later, she woke up groggy and sore. Something had gone wrong. During the exam, her colon had been perforated, a rare but serious risk that's more common in older adults. She spent 3 days in the hospital and weeks recovering from something that, in hindsight, she may never have needed. Why colonoscopies get riskier after 75? Colonoscopy involves inserting a long tube into the colon to check for polyps or signs of cancer. While it's incredibly effective for early detection in people between 50 and 75, the procedure is not without risks, especially as you age. Sedation complications. Older adults often react more strongly to anesthesia. It can lead to confusion, memory issues, or even heart complications. Perforation. A tear in the colon wall is rare but more likely in older, thinner tissue. Bleeding. Removing polyps can cause internal bleeding, which may be hard to stop in seniors with thinner blood or who are on blood thinners. These complications aren't just unpleasant, they can be dangerous and in some cases life-threatening. What the guidelines say. The U.S. Preventive Services Task Force recommends stopping routine colonoscopies after age 75 for most people. Why? Because colon cancer takes years to develop. If you've had regular screenings in the past with no issues, the likelihood of something dangerous showing up late in life is low, especially if you don't have a family history or symptoms. In fact, for seniors in generally good health with no symptoms, the potential harms of the test often outweigh the benefits. Safer alternatives. If you're over 75 and still want to monitor your colon health without the risks of a full colonoscopy, there are safer, less invasive options. FIT, fecal immunochemical test, a simple at-home stool test that looks for hidden blood. Cologuard, a DNA-based stool test that screens for precancerous markers. Sigmoidoscopy, a less intense version of a colonoscopy that only looks at the lower part of the colon. These tests come with fewer risks, no sedation, and are much easier to recover from, making them a smarter choice for many seniors. What you should do. Ask your doctor, given my age and health, do I still need this? Review your screening history. If you've had clear results in the past, you may not need more. Don't be afraid to say no to tests done out of routine, not necessity. After 75, your body deserves care, but not unnecessary procedures. Before you sign up for another colonoscopy, ask, is this helping me live longer, or just risking more than it's worth? Checkup 3. Full body scans without symptoms. In an age of advanced medical technology, it's tempting to think, why not scan everything? Just in case. That's the appeal of full body scans, especially for seniors who want reassurance that everything's okay. But here's the hidden truth. These scans can often do more harm than good. Let's talk about Walter, 74. He saw an ad online for a preventive full body scan. It promised early detection, peace of mind, and fast results. He had no symptoms, just curiosity, so he went in. The scan found a spot on his lung. Nothing alarming, they said, but they suggested a biopsy to rule out cancer. The biopsy caused bleeding and a partial lung collapse. After a hospital stay and weeks of anxiety, the results came back. The spot was benign, harmless, something that never would have affected him at all. The hidden dangers of full body scans. Full body scans, like whole body CTs or MRIs, are often sold directly to consumers as proactive health tools. But major medical associations, including the American College of Radiology, warn against using them without specific symptoms or risk factors. Why? Because these scans are not targeted. They pick up everything: abnormalities, cysts, nodules, calcium buildups, most of which are completely benign, especially as we age. But once something is spotted, it triggers a domino effect. More tests, more scans, possibly invasive procedures like biopsies or surgeries, weeks or months of anxiety, all for something that never posed a threat in the first place. This is what doctors call overdiagnosis, detecting things that are technically abnormal but would never cause harm if left alone. Radiation risk adds up. Most full-body scans use CT, computed tomography, which exposes your body to significant radiation. A single CT scan can deliver the same radiation as 100 to 200 chest X-rays. In older adults, repeated radiation exposure may raise the long-term risk of secondary cancers. And since aging cells are more vulnerable, that risk is not something to take lightly, especially when the scan wasn't medically necessary to begin with. What the experts say. Leading health authorities agree, full-body scans without symptoms are not recommended for the general population, especially not for those over 70. Unless your doctor has reason to suspect something specific, these just-in-case scans create more problems than solutions. So what should you do instead? Stick to proven, evidence-based screenings like mammograms, blood pressure checks, and diabetes monitoring. Ask your doctor about the actual benefit of any test. Will this change how we treat me, or just cause worry? Be cautious of private clinics or online ads that promote peace of mind scans. If it sounds too easy, it might come with hidden risks. You deserve real peace of mind, not false alarms, radiation, and unnecessary fear. Before signing up for a full-body scan, ask yourself, is this about my health or my anxiety? Because sometimes the best way to protect your life is to avoid the scan altogether. Checkup 4. Frequent mammograms, women. For decades, mammograms have been a trusted tool in the fight against breast cancer. And rightly so, they've saved countless lives by catching tumors early. But after age 75, the picture gets more complicated. What once was clearly helpful may now come with more risks than benefits. Let's look at the story of Margaret, 78. She was diligent about her health. Every year, like clockwork, she went in for her routine mammogram, even though she had no symptoms and no family history of breast cancer. One year, the scan picked up something small, a cluster of suspicious cells. The doctors moved quickly: biopsy, surgery, radiation. The whirlwind left her physically drained and emotionally shaken. Months later, her oncologist admitted, this tumor was so slow growing, it likely never would have caused a problem in your lifetime. Margaret was left wondering, was the stress, pain, and fear worth it? Why this matters. After 75, the body slows down, and so do many cancers. Tumors that would have been dangerous at 50 or 60 might now grow so slowly they never become life-threatening. But a mammogram can't always tell the difference between aggressive and non-aggressive tumors. So what happens? You get a phone call, we saw something suspicious. You undergo more imaging. Then a biopsy, sometimes painful, always anxiety-inducing. And in some cases, even surgery or radiation for a tumor that may have stayed harmless for the rest of your life. This is called overdiagnosis, the detection and treatment of a problem that never would have caused harm. It's more common than you think, especially in older women. And it comes at a cost: stress, fear, complications, and even the risk of side effects from unnecessary treatments. What do the guidelines say? The U.S. Preventive Services Task Force and other health organizations now say there's not enough evidence to recommend routine mammograms for women over 75, unless they have a longer life expectancy and clear risk factors. In other words, if you're healthy, living independently, and have 10+ good years ahead, a personalized conversation with your doctor makes sense. But if you're managing multiple health conditions or nearing the average lifespan, routine mammograms might do more harm than good. How to decide? Talk openly with your doctor about your current health, life expectancy, and personal risk. Ask, if this test finds something, how will it change my care, or will it just add stress? Consider spacing out mammograms to every 2 years, or stopping entirely if you and your doctor agree the risks outweigh the benefits. Focus on breast awareness, noticing any changes, lumps, or symptoms and reporting them promptly. Being proactive about your health is smart, but after a certain age, the definition of proactive changes. It becomes about avoiding unnecessary stress, protecting your peace, and making medical decisions based on quality of life, not just habit. So before you schedule that next mammogram, just because, ask yourself, is this still helping me, or is it time to rethink what care looks like at this stage of life? Checkup 5. Unnecessary blood work just to check. At first glance, it seems harmless, even smart. You go to the doctor, they order a few extra blood tests just to check. After all, isn't more information always better? But for seniors over 70, that constant stream of lab work can sometimes do more harm than good, especially when there's no clear reason for it. Let's meet Evelyn, 82. She was in good health, took daily walks, and had a sharp mind. But her new doctor believed in being extra thorough and ran full blood panels every 6 months, even when Evelyn had no symptoms. One day, her thyroid level came back slightly outside the normal range. Within days, she was taking new medication. The side effects? Fatigue, dizziness, nausea. 6 weeks later, she was worse off than before. And after another round of labs, the doctor said, turns out it was just a lab variation. Let's stop the meds. Evelyn was frustrated and exhausted. Why this matters? After 70, our bodies naturally change, and so do many of our lab values. A number that might look abnormal in a younger person could be totally normal for someone older. But when doctors treat lab results instead of real symptoms, it opens the door to unnecessary medications, anxiety, and repeat testing that adds no real value. This is especially true for mildly low sodium or potassium levels, slight changes in thyroid hormones, marginal fluctuations in kidney or liver function, borderline blood sugar readings. Many of these shifts are age-appropriate and don't require treatment, only monitoring. But when a blood test becomes the center of the conversation, your actual lived experience, how you feel, how you function, gets pushed to the side. The hidden risks of over-testing. Anxiety, getting a call about abnormal results, creates fear, even if nothing is wrong. Over-medication. New prescriptions can introduce side effects, especially dangerous for older adults. Unnecessary procedures, an out-of-range value might lead to scans, biopsies, or referrals, all of which carry risk. Health confusion. Constant testing can make people feel fragile or broken, even when they're doing just fine. What to do instead? Focus on symptoms, not numbers. If you feel well, eat well, and sleep well, routine blood work should be minimal. Schedule blood tests only when there's a reason, like new symptoms, medication adjustments, or follow-ups for known conditions. Ask your doctor, what are we looking for? And how would a change affect my treatment? Track your own health. Appetite, energy, weight, mood, and sleep are often better indicators of well-being than a piece of paper. Get a second opinion if you're prescribed medication based on one minor lab variation, especially if you feel fine. Health after 70 is about function, feeling, and freedom, not perfect lab results. Don't let a printout define your peace of mind. Instead, work with a doctor who treats the whole person, not just the numbers. And remember, the best care is personalized, not automatic. You have the right to pause, to ask questions, and to say no to tests that don't serve your well-being. After 70, the goal isn't to chase every number or check every possible box. It's to protect what truly matters: your time, your energy, and your peace. A wise life isn't built on fear. It's built on informed choices, calm confidence, and honoring what feels right for you. You are not just a patient, you are the expert on your own body. Trust that. Which checkup surprised you the most today? Drop it in the comments. I read every one and your story could help someone else. If you're ready for more honest, empowering health advice for aging wisely, not fearfully, make sure to subscribe to this channel. And turn on the bell because your time matters. And so does your voice. This is your space. Let's grow stronger together.